Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm Dr. Tavis. You're a business strategist, and this is Business Strategies Made Simple. I get to do this room with some amazing people, with my millionaire mentor and also my mentee, Coach Joanne. We come here every week on Tuesday, giving you business tools and tips, financial tools and tips, and excited about it. Good morning, Joanne. Welcome to the stage on today. Listen, we're going to have a great conversation. We're going to continue the journey talking about money, 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 limited belief and money blockages. We're going to get to our affirmations in a second, but let's do this. Let's ping about three more people and then we'll get started. I'm going to go on mute and do some pinging. Hey, good morning, Brian. Welcome to the stage on today. Go ahead and introduce yourself and then we'll get to the affirmations.
Good morning, everyone. Something was trying to stop me from getting in this morning. We're going through all kind of stuff. But good morning, everyone. Every good, happy Tuesday. My name is Brian Jubert, the tax strategist. Been in the game for 27 years, helping entrepreneurs, real estate individuals, and anybody that needs to leverage their lifestyle through taxes. So again, this is my love, this is my passion. Definitely take notes. Definitely reach out to me, and let's do this thing together, man. We all can win. So thank y'all.
Listen, thank you so much, Brian. Listen, we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that will come back for the replay, and our membership box that we have, welcome to this conversation on today. Treat this conversation like it is like so relevant to where you are today because it will be. Guess what? Because there are some financial principles that really across the board they will not change. They will always be the same. Like these affirmations that we do. We have some affirmations that we do every single week. And we're going to put out an affirmation book for you all here soon. Let's get started. I am abundant in all areas of my life. I am abundant in all areas of my life. I'm a magnet for financial prosperity and abundance. I am a magnet for financial prosperity and abundance. I am worthy of receiving unlimited wealth and blessings. I am worthy of receiving unlimited wealth and blessings. I am open to receiving money and opportunities from unexpected sources. I am open to receiving money and opportunities from unexpected sources. I am a wise steward of my financial resources. I am a wise steward of my financial resources. And I'm going to give us one last one that's new for this week. I am living a life of financial freedom and fulfilling my purpose. I am living a life of financial freedom and fulfilling my purpose. Oh, I like this one too, Brian. I am a vessel of abundance and money flows to me abundantly. Oh, I am a vessel of abundance and money flows to me abundantly. Now, I want you to say 5 times money is my friend. 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 If you participated in those financial abundant affirmations, put a 5 in the chat box because what you say out of your mouth is what you're going to see. And every week, we're going to start off with our um, affirmations because if only for once a week, if only that time you focus your energy and your sound and change your money energy and your money sound. I'm believing that even that is enough to keep changing your reticular activating system and the way you see money, the way you see taxes, the way you see business, and the way you see life. And of course, you need to do it more than that. But this is what I know to be true, that if you do it, if you come here every week, then it's going to be like, okay, I need to do them today. Wait a second. Let me get the ebook. Let me do this. Let me change. Wait a minute. I found some money in a purse today. Oh, my money. Wait, this thing really does work. And so the conversation and the dialogue that Brian and I are having with you, it shifts. It shifts from just a conversation to a lifestyle change for you. Hey, Brian, let's have a conversation. How are things going in the tax world? I want to yield to you.
All right, right now things are a little slow, which for us is not unusual because our targeted market in the tax world are business owners, real estate folks, which y'all don't be getting y'all stuff together on time. So we not really panicking. By the time everybody else starts slowing up, we gonna start picking up. But we ready, we ready. I'm consistently recruiting individuals. If y'all have any, especially young people that want to get in the tax business, man, that want to be in the business world, let me know because I'm really, really interested in mentoring, teaching, not just taxes, but just entrepreneurship, business, and so it's about to get crazy though, Dr. Tavis. And I wanted to let all my people know if you're an S Corp, if you're a partnership, please, please, please file your taxes by March 15th. March 15th is the deadline for individuals who have S Corps and partnerships. And that's right around the corner, people. It's February 27th. That means we have about a little over 2 weeks 2 weeks to file your business taxes. So if you hadn't starting to get your stuff together yet, you might need to reach out to somebody to find out how do I actually structure my deductions? How do I structure everything that I'm writing off? How do I keep up with it? Because we need to have those. Now, if you can't get it done, because we don't want you rushing and not taking advantage of everything. So if you can't get it done by then, file an extension. You can file an extension and have an extension until September 15th. And I would recommend that, please, but do don't sit back and don't do anything because the penalty for not filing and not having an extension is severe. And if you've already been penalized or you owe some back taxes, they may not grant you the waiver. And if they don't grant you the waiver, you can easily pay anywhere from $500 to $1,700, in penalties. And so let's not have those penalties when we don't have to, man. That's the thing, is that we have control over all of that. And so I just want people to basically be aware of your financial situation, know what's going on, especially the things we can control. And that's the beauty of everything that happens with the tax game is that we can control all of this stuff. So man, if y'all have any questions of if you need to file, when you need to file, how you need to file, definitely reach out because I don't want nobody getting penalties because I know all y'all rich and y'all don't mind giving the government extra money, but just think about the investing that you can do, the savings that you can do, the taking care of somebody else that you can do with that extra money that you don't give the government. Does that make sense? Yeah, so and that's one of the things before I really get into it too much, I want to see if anybody have any questions related to their taxes or business, so definitely feel free, man, to reach out because I definitely want to make sure that we're on the right track because it's early in the year, so we have enough time to rebound. That's the beautiful thing about it. If you're not on track for this year, you have enough time to get it together. And even if you're a W 2 person, let's just make sure that you're in the right position, you're having the right taxes taken out, and all of those things like that.
Hey, Brian, I was trying to get the link so that they can have your tax link to the link to LMB Tax Services. So that's why I didn't come back. I started to come back and be like, wait a second. I was like, you know what? That's too much energy. So, but I did. I was able to get the link and put it up so that those of you that need to reach out to Brian and have any questions, the link is in the chat box. Our link is in the pin box at the top. And if you have any questions today that you want to ask Brian, do me a favor and raise your hands and come up to the stage, or even put it in the comment section to the bottom left hand side of your screen, and we can ask you some questions, answer some questions. But let's talk, Brian. You know what I'm watching. There's a lot that's happening where some people are hoping Trump gets back in the office, and I don't want to necessarily talk politics, but I do know that there are a lot of things that happen, and a lot of changes that are imminent that's coming up even with this tax year. And you told us some changes that we could see in our tax brackets. What wisdom would you give us, even as business owners who are like, okay, because I'm one of those that, I'm kind of like, man, the IRS, or, we're almost at a settlement. But what wisdom will you give those who are like, okay, this upcoming year, I'm finally going to file my S corp, hint Mimi. I'm finally going to do things differently because I'm ready to build. I'm at the point now where I'm building to sell. I'm building to build a corporation, and build it to the nth power. And from the wisdom of Magic Johnson, stay there about 4 years and sell, which means everything has to be solid on the front end of things. Give us some wisdom for those of us that are going to cross over from just, we do taxes on our business, to literally trying to build it to a lucrative state, Brian.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that it starts with mindset, Catastrophe, because first of all, you said something that's extremely powerful in which we haven't adopted that mindset yet as far as I build things to sell. So it's one of those situations where we make everything that we do personal and we make it our baby. And so we start building stuff and we get in position where we don't think about that kind of stuff, because we do want to create generational wealth, and we always say we want to pass down the legacy and pass our business down, and we don't think about that. But the thing is that I guarantee you, your family is not going to be mad if you build a business up and sell it for $100 million and you pass that $100 million down as opposed to the business. Because what I found is most of the time now with family businesses, the family don't even want to be involved. They don't even want to take it over. You do have some instances. I think it becomes personal for us as parents a lot of times, but that's not the kids' dreams. That's not the kids' destinies. So they don't really care about that as much. So again, we have to think about it from that capacity, especially when you're good in your business and you see there's a market that may transition. Because what happens is sometimes we wait too late to start now getting out of the business. We might be in an industry that don't transition with time. So sometimes you have to look at where the industry is going, where the society is going, where the economy is going, and say, well, know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it don't transition to the next 10 years. Let me sell this business. And so what happens is we get caught up and say, well, no, I started this from scratch. I didn't have nothing. I had to sell my first car to get the money to pay for this. And, I just don't want to let it go. And now 10 years down the line, the economy has changed. Technology has changed. And now I got a business that nobody really supports no more because it's kind of outdated, but I can't sell it because again, this is not the way the world works no more. So we have to be conscious of those things and change your mindset to have an open mind about it. You got to have an open mind about it because, like you said, the rich and successful people definitely build businesses to sell. And if nothing worse can come out of that is you didn't made a whole bunch of money from it to pass down to your family, that might not be that bad. So it starts with that mindset, to grow, to pass it on, and eventually you're going to not be in the business no more. So you definitely have to be realistic with yourself. And I think that's something we never really talk about in our communities. One, because we don't think big enough for scaling our business to get into a point where it can be sold. That's the one thing. And now it's so many of these tech companies out here and so many companies now that try to buy off these smaller businesses because they don't want the competition. They want to dominate the market. It's not unusual for somebody to come in and offer you a few millions for your business. So we have to be conscious of that, but always keep that in the back of your mind that that may be a possibility. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Brian. That's why I mentioned it. I mean, I am at that point where I want to I want to do that. Like I was looking at my single mompreneur club. That's I've had that business for about 3 years, and I was like, one I want to. That's one of the businesses that I want to build. I have about seven of them, but there are a couple that I've been thinking. Really, that's where my mindset has been, Brian. It's wait a second, Tavis. God didn't give you all of these just for you to do them. Perhaps he gave it to you so that you can build it and sell it. And so that's been the mindset. And I will say thank you, because that's a mindset shift for me, right? Oh, I got to do this and put somebody, and I mean, I can work them for a while, but I really want to get things in a place where I can sell it, hand it off, and, make my money off of it and go and build something else, probably because I get bored easy. So I'm really interested in that. So that lets you know. And for those of you in the room who, trust in me and believe in what God shows me, that's growth. And you always want to be connected to people who are thinking, who are forward thinking future forwardly. And so at one point I thought I got too much going on, but I was like, okay, God, what are we doing? And he said, it's not all for you. Until then I rewatched something that Magic Johnson, conference I attended, that he was talking about how he builds businesses and keep them for oh so long and all that. That was about 3 years ago. I went back and revisited, because when you fasting and praying, God give you wisdom and ideas. And I said, oh, so I don't have to throw it away. I can build it to sell. And so that's my mindset with that, Brian. And I've been looking at a couple of other guys who've done that as well. Just expanding my thought pattern, getting rid of some limited beliefs. And I would say this, and we can discuss this, Brian. um, you can't look at where you if you look at where you are, you will never have a vision for where you desire to be. If you look at where you are now, you'll never have a vision for where you desire to be. What does that mean? If I look at the fact that, okay, but okay, I need to pay taxes on this, I need to do this over here, I need to do that over there, instead of thinking future forward, like, no, this is going to be a single mom's going to forever be, like, forever. Like, that is a business that, if set up right, if course is set up right, if things are set up right, it will always make money, and it can grow into a lucrative major conference. All of these things that take place, it's up to me to navigate and say, okay, this is what that is for, and to set my schedule, because this is what I've been doing with different things, setting my schedule. Well, on this day I focus on, for the personal development and things that I'm doing, Brian. Instead of me thinking, okay, I don't have time to do this, I've allocated time slots where, okay, I'm focused on this at this particular time, because I know that if I keep thinking about doing a thing, or I keep saying, okay, I want to be a multimillionaire, and I'm going to be a multimillionaire, and I've gotten prophetic words that I will be a I will be a billionaire if I allow God to do it. Well, guess what, Brian? I've got to get the discipline, i.e., it started with the intermittent fasting, and I know this is teaching something different, but there's a discipline in making money. There's a discipline to having money. There's a discipline to keeping money. There's a discipline to it all. And so you start with self-discipline, and it shows up in other areas of your life. And so, Brian, these are the areas that I've been like, okay, I need to be disciplined to make sure I'm doing this, but it's all for the larger goal. It's not all for the right now, it's for the larger goal. The larger goal. And I know, focus on one thing until you maximize that. Yes, you should focus on one thing and build that, but it doesn't mean in your spare time, or that you can't carve out time to study something else. It doesn't mean that you can't be looking at something else, i.e., we do it all the time. We read the Bible and then we go read something in business. So we're multifaceted, and we're doing things like that all the time, right? You've got to position yourself. And this is a year, I feel God, this is a year of positioning. Brian hasn't told me this, but let me tell y'all something. I prayed for you the other day, Brian, and God showed me that Brian has been positioning himself for something so big, that in the next 3 to 5 years, that Brian will be a cash millionaire. Like a cat, like in the next 3 to 5 years, he'll be like, yeah, I got to make, I got 250 in that account, and well, I need to put it somewhere that it'll start coming in, and he'll have to figure out a place to put it so that it can make more money. But it's going to happen quickly, Brian, with something. I don't know what it is that you're working on, but it's something you're working on, and I'm telling you, it's going to be made manifest. But it's your discipline that's causing it to be able to happen. It's a level of discipline that you have. So that's just, my little two cents. Brian, what would you like to say to that?
Dr. Tavis, that's I don't know if that's exciting or scary because and I just been saying like lately like it's just something I don't know how to even describe it, but it's just something that's been in my spirit like it's just ready to explode. Like it's just phenomenal thing this great thing about to happen. And I don't know what it is, but I know some of the things I have on the table and some of the ideas I have. Is probably part of the reason. But I can feel something. And I was at the gym yesterday, and I was just talking about it. Like, man, it's just crazy. I don't know what it's feeling in me, but it's like something waiting to just bust out. And I can slowly tell like the people that I need in my corner. This is why I've been pushing so much about people. Every week I'm putting something out about partnership, partnering with me because I know I got, $1 million situations that's not for me, but to basically bring other people in as well. And I think that's what part of my frustration is. And so I'm saying, all right, you know what? You got to get even more disciplined because you may have to manifest this yourself and then people have to see it developed before they come on. But I feel like, yeah, and it's your prayers, I guess. I guess it's your prayers, but it's something in there that's phenomenally ready to bust out, and I'm meeting the people. Like I always say, the thing that we really have to understand is greatness don't come in abundance. And what I mean by greatness don't come in abundance, when we want to work with people and we want to get people around us and we meet 10 people, you're like, oh my God, like I can't find nobody, everybody I try. But the thing is that when you only have great people, you're not going to find them in tens. They're gonna come very slow. So this is why I'm nickel and diming with people. And I'm getting a person here that I think is phenomenal. I'm getting a person there. I might meet with 5 people and I'll be like, nah, those people ain't right. And I might get one and be like, all right, this might be the one. So what we have to understand is it's gonna take time. And greatness is not going to come in abundance because if greatness came in abundance, that means we would have a lot of Tiger Woods, we would have a lot of Venus and Serenas, we would have a lot of entertainers that's on the level of Michael Jackson, And so when you start thinking about all the things that we do, the LeBron James, Michael Jordans, those people are generational talent. So when we start talking about greatness, those type of things don't come as often. So you're not gonna find that in 10 people. If you run a business, you already know if you got a staff of 5 people, you got one person that's really phenomenal. And everybody else is okay, yeah, they pretty good. Because it don't come that way. So we gotta understand you gotta play the numbers game, you gotta get out there, you gotta really and I think, for a lot of people, we get frustrated because we want everybody to be magnificent. And it ain't everybody's place and time, So I think I'm manifesting, I'm feeling, I'm receiving everything that you're saying about me, to me, praying for me, all those things, because I think it's really basically a situation where again, I don't know if it's exciting or scary. And scary in the sense of not that I don't want it and I can't handle it because I believe it's going to happen, but the fact that we on the same wavelength. Like, you mentioned that and I'm feeling that, and scary in a good way to where that's a beautiful thing. Does that make sense?
It does. I pray for you. We love you for real over here, Brian. I pray for you for real, right? No, but I see it though. Like I see it just as sure as I see the nose on my face. And I'm excited about it because to be given the opportunity to be a part of, and I've crossed over, and you're going to be so happy about this. I've crossed over into a season of, instead of me trying to pull everybody along, that I'm sitting at different tables where there are people that I'm going by myself. I'm invited to the table and I'm sitting there. I'm sitting at tables by myself. And it feels it's not scary at all, just because, these spaces like this and, your mentorship group group and, the dream team coming in December and all of that pouring into us. I don't build to just pour. I build because I eat too. I feed as well. And so being a partaker of all the things that you all say and the way that I do things, Brian, I'm telling you, by the end of this year, I won't be the same. My financial status won't be the same. I'm being bolder even in the clients that I will work with and the clients that I won't work with. I'm shifting my mindset because here's the thing, Brian. If I can speak greatness into a millionaire like you and watch it be made manifest, there are millionaires now that I spoke into. When I say millionaires, Brian, I'm talking about literally. And if you will receive this, I can tell you exactly in the next 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 years to forever that will happen. Here is what will happen. Dr. Tavis, let's go to lunch. We pray, we talk through strategy. You go and you'll strike $1 million deal, then 1.7 million. Then you got property over here. I have receipts that there are 5 people that I can name to you that I did that through. Did that with. Now here is the saddest part about it. I didn't realize what I was doing at the time because I didn't know me. I didn't know my gifts. I didn't know what was on the inside of me. I didn't know that. I just know that we would meet, we would talk, and things. Oh yeah, we prayed about that. We touched and agreed on that. That worked. No, there's business strategies and there's a timing and there are kairos moments, there are timings, and there are times when you can call a bank and the right person answer the phone. There are times when you can call the IRS and $35,000 worth of I think it was 37.9 he told me the other day. They'll just say, okay, you know what, you're right. XYZ 1 2 3, here's the paperwork. So there are the timings of it, but that causes you have to be in tune with God and in tune with the vision of the person that you're praying for. Even these women in the room have testimonies of me speaking into their life. So I know the gift that I have, but I also, in addition to that, I know what I see as it pertains to you. And so I do see that. I see even your school, all of that stuff being so major that you have $100,000 months easily, Brian. When I say easily, Brian, hear me when I say easily. You'd be like, my class people took XYZ 1 2 3. Oh yeah, I make an easy $100,000 tax season because people want to know how to do taxes, so they take the course. Or kids want to know this. Those are things that you're already putting those things in place, Brian. So eventually it has to catch on. Eventually it has to catch on like wildfire, and before you know it, you like, I got to take this money out of my bank account. Wait a second, this ain't even insured over here. But that's because you laid a foundation starting 30 something years ago, right? You shifted your belief system when your mama gave you that had that $10 to give you on your way to college that day. And ever since then, you've been working your way to where you are now. And I'm having this conversation because if we are going to be, as I drive to my subdivision, if we're going to be bigger and think differently, we have to expand our mindset, expand our reach, and expand the conversations that we're having with people. We can talk about light bills and what don't exist all day. We can talk about who don't help us and what they didn't do all day. But let's have the conversation about the power and authority that you operate in yourself. Let's talk about if I shift my mindset to wait a second, I just want to be a millionaire. I'm convinced making $1 million is not enough for me. It won't be enough for me. I'm convinced of that. Therefore, I have to expand it to okay, God, I can do a $50 million company or $500 million company and start having those conversations and start lining eventually my life, and this is the science of it. If you talk about it long enough, it's going to show up. If you focus on it long enough, it's going to happen because eventually you take action. It's just like going to the gym. When most people start at the gym at the beginning of the year, they don't stop their eating habits immediately. Let's just say 50. Let's talk about the 50% that don't. But the 5% that continue to go, eventually you stop having that cup of coffee on the way. Eventually, you stop eating so many carbs and so many sweets. Eventually, but that's because you started doing something. And as you are doing it, your belief system changes and your actions line up with what you believe and what you're doing. What do you think about that, Brian?
No, that's the whole thing, like you said, and I think that's what people really miss, and why most people don't achieve their goals because their actions don't align up with their beliefs and goals. And the action is it's all in the action, though. It's all in action. And I would say even with me, personally, like I know what I want to achieve. I know what my goals are. But if my actions and my discipline don't line up with that, because again, if I know that I want to be stripper boy fine, I go to the gym every day. I do all my self care stuff. I play tennis. I do all these, but I'm still not there. You know why? Because my actions are not lining up with my goals. And when actions mean I'm still eating bad, I still get on my staff about bringing all the sweets in because that's one of my vices. And I'm picking up, nibbling on candy here and there. I'm out. If I'm traveling, I'm picking up on sweets, trying stuff. So my actions are not lining up with my goal. So again, this is how life is gonna work. This is how business gonna work. You always spinning your wheels, and but what happens is now that I say, you know what, I'm about to really take this to another level. I'm about to become disciplined. I'm about to become, you know, intentional in becoming stripper boy fine this summer. So now I've been getting up earlier now, and that was another part. Like if I'm not getting up earlier, I'm getting up earlier now, going to the gym, doing multiple workouts. What I did was I threw away a lot of the bad stuff I had at home. I just threw it out. I was like, I'm not going, it ain't no, or I'm gonna wait till I finish it. I threw it out because why? If I say that I'm gonna start a goal and I'm gonna achieve something, why am I waiting to the end of the month? Why I'm waiting till next month? Why I'm waiting till if I said I was going to do this 3 weeks ago? Why am I waiting to well in March I'm gonna start? Why not start now and already create the habit going into March? So now I'm throwing away all the sweets I had at home. Anything that's not conducive to the goal that I'm trying to achieve for the summer. And so that makes a lot of sense. If your actions are not lined up with your goal, you'll never, basically never achieve those goals. No matter how hard you work, how hard you do, because again, you're going to consistently be spinning your wheels. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does, Brian, and I'm on that with you too. And I remember you were talking about the doing the 1 day of fasting too. I've shifted a lot of stuff, and since December the 3rd or 13th, I've lost 26 pounds. But it's taken
Yes,
some strong
yes.
discipline. I've got 59 more that I want to lose before we go to Mexico, and I am attacking it with a vengeance. Next week, I'll be working out twice a day. I'm so focused on. Now, here is the thing. It's about the main thing is it's about discipline. That's number one. It's really about the discipline of it because if I can discipline my vice, which is food, right? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I ain't having no sex. I mean, that's just let me just eat, right? But in watching Brian, when something happens, what do I turn to? Because I would turn to coffee with creamer, and then I'm gonna go eat me some sushi with a lot of rice. So I had to pay attention to that. So that means I got to get healed in another area, right? That means that, and this is why this conversation is so important. That when you start working in one area in the positive, it will start to infiltrate other areas. And we had a conversation this morning. The 5 now they came to me in my area. I have a red bar. Oh my God, it's raining. But they came to work with me in lives was impacted by working with me. Well, that's how discipline is, right? So I've seen, a difference in my body. I've seen a difference in my numbers. I've seen a difference in my um uh all of my numbers, cholesterol, all of that. But it didn't start with me trying to just lose weight, Brian. It started to me for me being committed to a 5 a.m. soaking session, to women who we vowed to fast and pray together. It started with me fasting and praying for a cause, believing God for some things. And then I started researching, wait a second, we're doing 6 to 6. God, how can this help my body? Because I wasn't feeling good because I get up and I'll eat before 6. Oh my gosh, it's 6:45, 5:45. Let me get up and drink my cup of coffee. And I was like, wait, God, show me a way. So it started being disciplined with one area, and then that area went over into my health area. But guess what else was impacted? And Dr. Stella can tell you this, my finances was impacted because I was spending so much money on food. So then my finances are working in the positive, and I've been able to take that money because I looked to see how much I was spending on food. I was able to take that money and I've been able to pay one of my credit cards down. So that one area of discipline, changing my limited beliefs, right? That I'm just doing this for one thing. Oh, you can't, when you fast, you just need to be fasting. No, God, show me how this one area of discipline can impact other areas of my life. And I'm seeing a difference. I'm seeing a difference in how I deal with people, how I talk to people, who I don't talk to. But Brian, I'm even seeing a difference in how I value my wisdom. When I tell you, Brian, I'm seeing a difference in who I coach, who I don't coach, who I'm going to cast my pearls before swine. All of those things, that one area of God, I'm going to be submitted and I'm going to fast and pray from 6 to 6. And, it started with the Daniel's fast. And, on the Daniel fast, you just don't eat coffee, drink, none of that stuff, but you can still eat. So at first, I would still eat some fruit and vegetables. And I was like, no, let me be more disciplined. That one thing has impacted so many different areas of my life. Never mind the fact, honey, I am bow-legged fine. You stripper fine, and I am bow-legged fine over here, y'all. So I say that to say, shifting your limited beliefs in one area will impact the way you even look at your taxes. It'll impact the way that you even look at your money. It'll impact the way of the rooms that you decide to go in. It's so powerful. And I'm telling you, and I would tell you, Brian, you know this to be true. When change happens, there will be some casualties. When you decide to make change, there's going to be some casualties. What do you mean, Dr. Tavis? People that you dealt with before you got disciplined, people that you dealt with before you made that shift and that change, their conversation is the same. You can't tolerate that. So there's a sound that you just like, oh no, I can't, no. And now no, I said, oh, I can't do that. I cannot, no, I cannot. So everything started to shift. Where you're acting different, I am acting different. And I'm so grateful to God that I'm in you learn how to say no differently. I'll never forget, I was telling my best friend that Tyler, my oldest son, had called me and I was getting my nails done or something like that. Child, I told him, I said, let me tell you something. I am at the nail shop and I have this place that I go, Brian, they treat me so good. When I tell you, I feel like I'm at a spa. And that man be looking up, looking at laughing, don't even speak English. But I feel like I'm at a, they take really good care of me. But that was my moment for that. Why is that a big deal? Because I chose to do what I was doing for me first, right? And not even for my oldest seed. And so, what does that mean? That there's a discipline that comes because you put you first and you understand that you ain't dead. And if you die, then we're going to let the dead bury the dead. And I need to call the coroner because ain't nothing I can do anyway. So, there's a level of discipline that comes when you make a decision in one area of your life, it seeps into other areas of your life. And so there's change that happens. There's transformation that happens. And then guess what you can do? Then you start to attract other people and other conversations. This lady told me yesterday, she said, why are you constantly, you're valuable and people are valuable, but why are you constantly trying to make people see your value, pay for your value that don't want to pay for it? There are people that'll pay for your value. Why did you put yourself? There was a couple of situations I had to discuss with my mentor. She said, why did you need to deal with why you even allowed that to happen in that regard? And I was like, I do. So I dealt with it, right? So guess what I put in place, Brian? I don't want to coach. If I am coaching you and we're not, first of all, I don't want to coach my friends unless they pay up front. But if I am coaching you, I don't want to talk to you outside of coaching until, and we could be friends, but it's after the contract is complete. Then we can go to lunch unless it's about coaching or anything. Outside of that, I will no longer befriend those that I coach with until the contract is done and the monies are paid. That was something that I learned. That was something that was a great lesson for me, right? In that lesson, though, I learned it wasn't the other person or the other people. It was me because I didn't set the boundaries. Now I could say, but I believe that person and I believe them and I did the work and they should know better. I could propel or repel that off of me and put it on somebody else, but I choose not to. Tavis, what is your lesson in this? And that is a great coaching lesson. That is a great business lesson. Until the project is complete, that I'm implementing myself, until the project is complete, until the ink dries, I don't want you to just run anything by me. I don't want any of that. We're gonna fill out this contract. I'm gonna and then I'll resist the urge because I remember the last 3 times it happened. I resist the urge because it's business. And so why am I telling you this? Because as you are fasting and praying and you're making changes and you're wanting to get rid of limited beliefs, you're going to have to look introspectively inside of you and say, wait a second, I can't go by your actions. Stella, I can't. Nicole, I know you're great. I can't go by yours. Michelle, yes, I love you. Anisha, I know you're amazing, but I have to go by Tavis. What can you do differently so that whatever this thing is, that it doesn't happen another time? If we do that in different areas of our lives, I promise you there's going to be a lot of change. I know I just went on this whole teaching mode. And Brian, I pray that all of this, all of this does go back to limited beliefs and shifting your mindset. Because guess what ends up happening as it pertains to tax season and money? Those are 3 contracts that I'm not going to get paid for. Had I implemented this, then I would be 9 times 3, 9, 2, 2, 2, 2. I would have about $25,000 more in my bank account by the end of March that I won't have because I didn't put things in place. It's nobody's fault, Brian, but it's mine. But this level of discipline, only discipline and fasting and praying can take the onus off of somebody else and give you the capacity to look at yourself. Brian, you said it yourself. I went home and I got rid of the sweets. I told myself not to do this. I told this. I implemented things so that I can be a better me. And that's what you all have to do. You have to implement things so that you can be a better you. I hope that makes sense to everybody in the room. Brian, I want to yield to you. And if there's anybody in the audience that want to come up, please feel free to come up. I'm parked now. I'm gonna check the chat box to see what you all are saying. Brian, if you're talking, you're on mute. Okay, maybe he's not talking. So
Uh,
Ashley says in order to use classes, courses. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
oh yeah, I was. Well, it didn't show that I was on mute, but nah, that was really powerful. What you said, and I think what we miss a lot of times, and what you was talking about, is just the natural effects of the change. And what I mean by that, when you said when you do it in one area, it creates basically it affects all areas. And I think that's the one thing that we lose sight of, is that whenever you start becoming disciplined in something, discipline is universal. So when I start getting disciplined in waking up early, when I start getting disciplined in not going, not eating sweets, that carries over to everything that I do now. Because it's not just that discipline of my manifestation is going to stay in that one area. Because the discipline is going to create, you know what? If I did this for this, I can do this for that. And then it starts happening everywhere. So now everything that I thought I couldn't do, everything that I wasn't doing, I'm doing now because I'm telling myself, well, you know what? I was able to quit sweets. So I was able to discipline. So why can't I do this? So now it helps every other area. So when I start saying I'm going to start saving money, it's going to automatically start happening because now I don't tell myself I'm bad at saving money because I know I have discipline because I've done it somewhere else. So that discipline starts to spill over in every parts of your life and you start seeing the change everywhere. So that's why when we start making a move in one place, we always say, man, I started doing this and the next thing I know was this started happening. And that's not by coincidence. That's just the way it works because I'm becoming disciplined universally. And it's not like it's almost basically like working out. Like when you say, well, I just want to lose my stomach, and you start basically working out to do things to lose your stomach, every other place is going to start, you're going to start losing weight and you're going to start getting healthy all over. So you're not just going to work on losing your stomach and think that's just going to happen. Your health is going to improve over your whole body. Everything else is going to, because your heart is going to start getting better. Your lungs are going to be better. When you stop feeding certain foods and stop eating and start running and you start exercising and you start doing the treadmill, you start doing all these things, it's not just your stomach gonna happen, it's your heart gonna get better, your legs gonna get stronger, and it's going to become universal. And that's the beauty of what you're saying, is that when you start improving in that one area and say, you know what, I'm gonna stop eating out because that's not healthy. But what happens is your money starts to improve because you're not eating out no more. So now you're trying to improve getting healthy by cooking more and staying at home more, but now your finances get better. And I think we lose sight of that we just think is that one dimensional. And this is why it's so important, because it trains your mind and your body that you can do it. So whatever area that I'm doing it in now is going to spill over into every other area that I need to do it. Does that make
Hey
sense?
Brian, it doesn't. And let me add this. This is so juicy today, Brian. We need to take this show on the road. So, in addition to that, what ends up happening too is other other things show up to support, whether good or bad, right? Other things tend to show up to support what you have going on. What do I mean by that? So, I'm in the 10 for 10. I am in the 10 for 10, but I am in the Release It challenge with Just Kim. I started 3 challenges ago, and I kind of half hardly participated. I kind of did the second one, but this third one, I'm all in and I'm super focused, right? The seed was planted 3 quarters ago. Now I am in it. When I decided to be in it and I'm fasting for something else, opportunities for me to release the weight and also release the other cares and concerns that I have, they started to show up as well. So it's when I take one step, when we take one step in an area, it's like the other necessary steps, they show up. We just can't quit because we see a challenge. We just can't give up because things don't look the way that somewhere in our minds we think they should look, but we haven't necessarily mapped out in the visualization process what that should look like. And so what we'll do is we'll find ourselves spinning our wheels unnecessarily. I.e., I'm guilty of that. Spinning our wheels unnecessarily. There is no reason why, Brian, that I should make at least, I mean, revenue, $1 million this year. Am I going to reach it? I'm definitely going to try. But guess what? I had to get out of my, get over myself, right? And get more discipline in my me life concerning Tavis, because any blockages that are there that could block me from going to another financial level, they had to go away. And they're slowly dissolving. They're slowly dissolving. And so because of that, and because of the level of clarity that I've gotten, because guess what? I chose to fast, I chose to pray, I chose to be disciplined, I chose to keep going. Wait a second, do I stop? No, I choose to keep going because the results are showing up for themselves. And that right there, Brian, should be enough to motivate everybody in this room. Because guess what? I'm not stuck. I don't even feel stuck. Now, I've gone through periods of where I felt stuck, but I don't mind reaching out to a Brian or somebody and say, hey, am I moving? Am I moving? Am I moving? Am I moving? Because I know the vices, my own personal vices. And one of my vices is make sure that you have people around you that can show you, because I'm such an overachiever and a perfectionist, they can say, hey, Dr. Sanders, you know what? Yeah, you can do something different over there, but you know what? You're killing it right here. So don't focus on what doesn't exist and look at where you are and perfect that thing. And once we do that, and I believe that every person in this room has an area of their life that where they're just like, wait a second, I do see change in that area. I do see momentum in that area. And you can take that, and if you can take that, it's going to train your mind that things are moving and that you're not as stuck as you think you are. That things are changing and things are moving. Brian, we get a win and we're like, yeah, God did that, but God, no, okay, instead of that, let me offer you this perspective, because as a pulling on my positive neuropsychology background, let me offer you a different perspective. Instead of, oh my God, yeah, Somebody blessed me to pay my car off, but I wish they paid my mortgage off. Instead of looking at it that way, say, wait a second. If that happened, then this can happen too. It's two different energies and two different languages that you're feeding your space, your reticular activating system, your frontal lobe, the neuroplasticity of your brain. You're retraining it to think the positive, that anything that I put my mind to, it can happen. Brian, I yield to you.
No, that's it's powerful, and again, I think that's what we discount. I think we just discount, like you said. Once I put my mind to it and I become disciplined, that discipline carries over to so many places. And I know it. I even said for myself, we're 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 only discipline away from achieving whatever goals that we need to achieve and that we have laid out for ourselves. And one way to really get past that is start listening to videos on discipline, buy books on discipline. I think I have about two or three about discipline, that you can start listening to and just kind of really just letting that go through your mind all day, listening to it, listening to it, listening to it, to where it almost make you feel guilty about not being disciplined. And sometimes we gotta do that though. We gotta listen to something, gotta listen to something, gotta listen to something and say, you know what? I am underachieving. They are holding me accountable. Because we always say I wish I had somebody to no, we don't in all cases. In a lot of y'all cases you do. You can call myself Dr. Tavis if you want to talk things over, if you need an extra push, if you need those words of encouragement or whatever it may be. But sometimes a lot of people don't have that. When I first started, my mentor was Les Brown. And I had never met Les Brown at that time. I'm talking about on YouTube, on audio. I would listen, work out, listen to Les Brown, watch videos all day about Les Brown, and that was my accountability partner. Whenever I got off track, whenever I thought I was undisciplined, I would listen to Les Brown, and he would say something to be like, "Brian, get back on track." Get back on track. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get off track at times. You gotta get back on. You're gonna, and it's basically until we become disciplined. And then what happens is when you start getting disciplined, it becomes habit. And then habit is easily obtainable because at that point it's something natural for you. So use whatever you can. If it's calling on, the same person, myself, like the over and over and over to get that motivation. If it's watching the videos, I spend a lot of time watching like personal development videos, business development videos. And so again, that's why my mind is geared toward that because that's all I'm really being fed. So it's easy for me now. It becomes habit. So whatever you're trying to do, watch videos, watch information on that, read up on that, read books, listen to books on that, and then it becomes second nature to you. And so before we get out of here, I know you had mentioned Magic Johnson before Dr. Seven. I just want to mention a couple of things, and this is in no particular order, but this may change somebody. And this is like I listen to Magic as well and talk on different platforms, and I'm gonna talk about a couple of things he said. And he was saying one thing. The one thing I listened to lately that he said, he was talking about your circle, and I think we had mentioned this about you. People get mad at him now because he don't entertain every deal. And he said if his mindset is to do $100 million deals, then he's not going to take time out to listen to a deal that you bring for $10,000 because he's up here and you're here. And he's not opposed to it, but he don't have time. So if you're going to actually deal with somebody, make it make sense for them. If you need their time, if you're trying to bring them something, that you want to partner with, bring it to them on their level where they're at now. And so what he's saying is that I can't do all of the $10,000, $100,000 deals when I'm basically doing $100 million deals now. I just don't have time as a human being. So it don't make sense for me to partner in those type of situations. So this is something that you really have to think about when you're dealing with people, because even when you think about it on your level, and you're doing whatever you're doing, if somebody brings you something that's very minute, you'd be like, why would they even bring that? That ain't even enough. And we subconsciously say it. You'd be like, that ain't even enough to get me through a month. I couldn't even do a trip with that. And so think about it from somebody else's perspective when you're trying to grow to the next level. The other thing he was talking about, and he always said this too, is like know your market. Know your market, man. You got to know who you're dealing with, who you're catering to from a business standpoint, personal standpoint. And he was talking about when he first bought Starbucks, when he first bought into Starbucks, and he was in L.A. And I don't know if Starbucks. I don't really do Starbucks, but I think they still have scones, and I don't know what the heck scones are. I don't know if it's a cookie cake type thing, but he was in L.A. and he was going around to the different stores with the guy that he was partnering with in L.A. And so he was bringing them around, and this was a Caucasian guy, and he was like, man, he said, well, one of the things that we not gonna have in our stores in L.A. is scones. He's like, black people don't really get into scones. He was like, what we're gonna have is we're gonna have, and he was jokingly saying, they like sweet potato pie and they like this and that and such and such. So he was like, that was one of the things that we gotta change. He said, because that won't work in here the same way. And then he was like, the music. He said the music that they play in some of the stores that you're in, we gotta basically revamp the music. He said now we might have a soft Marvin Gaye going on. He said, but that's what's gonna appeal to them. That's what's gonna make them sit here and want to drink more coffee, want to drink more tea, want to get a blueberry muffin when they're sitting here and they're listening to a Marvin Gaye in the background. They listen to a Donny Hathaway on the music, something soothing that they can relate to. So you got to know your market. You got to know, and you got to be willing and able to transition. The other thing he talked about was he said he paid his family not to work with him. He said, don't get caught up in bringing your family in. Understand everybody want to, save their family and help their family. He said, but sometimes family's going to be your worst employer or partner because they're going to feel entitled. He said, so be very cautious when working with your family, your kinfolk, even your children to some extent. He said, so he paid his family not to work with him because he didn't want to have to deal with the headaches. And then basically, understand that you can't make everything in your business about you. He said, what happens is, he said he had a clothing company a while ago, and he was buying all this inventory and he was buying all these things. He liked this, he liked that, and he had a whole store full of merchandise. And he thought everything in the store was fly because he would definitely wear it. And he was wondering why the store was not selling, like the product and the merchandise was not selling. He was like, I can't stand this stuff is fly. But what he did was he picked everything that he liked and not what consumers liked. And when somebody came in and told him, like, man, this is not what people are feeling, this is not what they're wearing, he said, yeah, it's fly to you, but you're not opening this store for you. You're opening the store for customers. And he said he had to learn that lesson. Like whatever you do, even if I don't like it, like nowadays, if I open up a certain type of store, I don't agree with all what these young people wearing now and the things that they're doing. But if I open up a store that's going to cater toward young people and the new generation, even though I might not like the items, I cannot take that personally. I gotta buy the stuff based on what they're like. They got sneakers with big old heels. Like that is the ugliest thing in the world to me. But this is what they love. So if I'm opening up a store, I gotta put those sneakers with those ugly heels in there. And so I just wanted to throw that out because you had mentioned Magic, and I do listen to Magic on some stuff. And one of the reasons why I do, because we got to understand again, if we talking about somebody that's considered a billionaire or close to a billionaire and own $1 billion franchises and partner with $1 billion companies, then this is the type of people I want to watch. Especially people that I know that really came, from nothing initially and kind of build their way up to that. And the one thing I like about Magic is very relatable. Like when he talks to you, when he speaks, he's not talking like a executive that's over everybody's head. He's very relatable. He's still talking in a sense, very charismatic, very fun loving magic type of tone. So you get it. The lessons are very, very pertinent to what you're trying to do, but he talked to you as if you was one of his good friends. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love his story, Brian, about Starbucks. It really, really touched me. I'm grateful, Brian, that we're here today. I'm grateful for those of you that are here because I feel that your mindsets, every conversation, Brian, and nobody can make me believe any different. Every conversation that we have um, trains our mind to think differently and to think bigger. And so I'm super excited about the direction that we're going in. I just believe, Brian, that we're going to see the manifestation that we are seeing the manifestation of these conversations and dialogues. Let me look in the chat box because I think there was a question. Um, one question was, in order to use classes, courses, assisting business conference for tax purposes, is there a specific type of documentation that will be required for those? Your receipt, right, Brian? If you went to conferences and you did all that, all you need is your receipt, right? Receipt of payment. Brian, you just need receipt of payment, but we'll wait to see what Brian says as well. Oh,
Can you
okay,
hear me
Brian.
now? Yeah. For some
Yeah, I
reason,
can
I
hear
got
you
to
now.
click off and then I got to click it back on because even when it's on.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah. So basically, a receipt of payment for the conference or seminar is definitely suffice. But then, even keeping your airline tickets, if it's something out of state, keeping your airline tickets, hotel, because all that coincides with what you have. So, that's always good documentation.
And then we have another question, Brian. That was from Ashley. Thanks, Ash. This is from Nicole. She said, I am a licensed financial professional in the life insurance space. I have a few happy clients now and would love to hear your thoughts around IRC code 7702 and how the insurance investment is never taxed if properly structured.
Well, no, it's a lot of advantages to investing. Yeah, it's a lot of, and so I was talking to somebody last night. Like we really got to start understanding, and as we get older, we got to start expanding our knowledge base and what we know because our years are starting to get shorter. So tax-free tax savings, it's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful concept, and a lot of it is through your life insurance and your different financial avenues. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of it because again because I understand now and I value the long-term tax-free tax savings type of situations when you start partnering with different financial vehicles and life insurance. So yeah, I'm not a financial planner, so I can't get into all of the different ones, but I know there's some out there, and that's something that we can probably talk about how we can partner to see, how we can make it beneficial for not just people in the group, but anybody going forward.
So Nicole, reach out to Brian and then head on down to Georgia and we'll meet and we'll do something special at Brian's space and all of us will get together. How about that? That sounds good. Brian, next month, March, I am slated to come to something, Brian. That will be my quarterly. Remember, my goal was to go to a networking event quarterly. That is my networking event next month with you. I'm excited about seeing you and excited about what's going on in the space. Tell us about what's happening tonight.
Well, tonight I'll be jumping on live on my Tuesday evening live. And Dr. Tavis, you'll be happy to know I'm actually looking to take this now to a full blown podcast. I just made an investment. Yeah,
What?
I was on a call last week with one of the top. I don't know if y'all know David Shands, but he's like the podcast king. Yeah, and
Yes. Oh, give
so
me the scoop that he gave
yeah,
you,
so
Ryan.
so
Oh, I'm gonna
him,
call
so I
you.
registered because him and CJ, which is ET Eric Thomas' partner, which is one of my clients. They come in together because CJ is like one of the top branding specialists in the country. And so they coming together and doing mastermind classes on how to podcast more effectively, how to monetize it, how to do so many different things. So I basically talked with them, did a course, paid for a course, and that's the thing, people. You got to invest in yourself, and and I was telling one of my mentees this, like, even though I probably could have reached out to CJ personally and say, hey man, y'all doing the course, blah, blah, and he might have been like, well, B, I'm gonna give you a discount. I went on and paid the full price for it, because what I do understand is when people have courses and people have stuff, and you pay for it and you don't come to them, they're going to give you 10 times more than what you pay for. And you have to value people's business. You have to value people's knowledge and crafts, and so I went on and paid for it, and I'm looking forward to it because I just know what they've done. They've proven. They've proven. And even Dr. Tappers, with that course, they discounted it tremendously, and they still made over $200,000 in one evening. And I ain't gonna say one evening, in 3 hours. This is the value of mastering your craft. So definitely make sure y'all follow me tonight. And the people who paid for the $50 business evaluation, yeah, I do apologize. I did revamp some things, so that's why I kind of held it up. But we definitely going to get on it coming into March. So if you have a business and you basically just kind of want to get an evaluation of your business and learn a little bit about yourself and stuff, you can go to my website, richboyinvestments.com, go to make a payment, pay the $50, and we're going to do a business evaluation just to see where you are and how we can get you to the next level.
This is good news. This is good stuff. This is awesome sauce. Yeah, I like both of those guys. I think they are so awesome and so amazing. I'll have to look at their class and see what they have as I'm expanding into podcasting. As I've been paying for it, that and a spot on television for probably 2 years. And I just think that now is the time. Let me tell you, I'm grateful that I didn't do it before, Brian. So I don't think it was a waste of money. But I think that now is just the time as God has grown me up a little bit more. And I'm very clear on the direction that I'm going in. Listen, this has been an amazing conversation with my millionaire mentor, Brian Jubert. Um, and he said something I could have gotten the class, and that's what I'm moving away from, Brian, is giving classes away to people who don't want to pay. And being like, okay, you're so great, you can grow. I'm so overall. When I tell you, Brian, I'm so over all of that. When I tell you, I'm just over it. Because it does. I'm just in a new season, and in this new season, I am grateful that God is sending me clients that respect what I do and who don't mind pulling out their credit card and paying for it, as it is with those in the audience. I am grateful that they're also in spaces that they're working with clients who respect what they do and who don't mind pulling out their credit card and paying for it. Because here is the thing that I learned, Brian. They may not pay you, but they would take their hind part somewhere and pay somebody else and then be mad because you don't ever want to talk to them again. When I tell you, listen to me, ladies. People may not pay you, but they would take their money and pay somebody else. Don't, please, 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 please. If you don't take the one piece of wisdom, this is what Brian said a few weeks ago. Your friends should want to overpay you. They shouldn't want it for free. They should want to overpay you. So I'm excited about this and the spaces that God has us in, and a lot of the deliverance and healing that's taking place, and really a lot of the conversations that's transpiring, even in this space, Brian, to shift our mindset from limited to beliefs to making sure that we're tapping into that growth mindset so that we understand that we can change and we can grow. But we can't do it all. We can't do any of it without the D word, discipline. It starts with you. Well, first of all, you've got to make a decision. And I don't even think it goes in necessarily in that particular order, right? I decided to fast because, the Lord said and showed the particular book that's life changing. And in that, I made another decision. In that discipline decision, I made another discipline decision and another discipline decision. And one decision has led to the other, as it is with a lot of you. Another decision, another decision, another decision. And if you're going to grow, that discipline has to be there. If you're going to change, if you're going to shift, you've got to shift now, but it's going to require you to be disciplined. Thank you all so much for joining on today. I think this has been a very, very peaceful, soothing, informative room on today. And for those that will come back to the replay, make sure you follow me and Brian, follow us on Instagram and also on Facebook. We are constantly doing things. And putting information out there that can benefit you, your business, your brand, and your entire life. Thank you all so much for joining. This room will be wait a second. What else are you offering, Brian? You told me what you was offering. Let me tell y'all what I'm offering. I am working. I have probably two more one-on-ones that I'm willing to work with people on, and that is so that you can work with me one-on-one. Just you and I, one-on-one. I'm only accepting um, 5 for the month of March, and that is because I probably do one a day, and because of the level of pour that I actually do. Um, so if you know somebody, a friend, or somebody who wants to work with me, or somebody who you just like, you just need a transformation, go work with Tavis so that you can be transformed. Please do me a favor. I definitely give out referral fees. So if you refer somebody to work with me and they pay and they register, sign the contract, and they pay, I definitely don't mind giving you a referral fee. Um, so yeah, that's where I am on today. Joanne, thank you so much for being present. Brian, Joanne is killing the game. She has got new positions, new everything. Life is just life and with Joanne in such a good way. So we just thank you. We're grateful that she could be here today. She's usually in training um, with her new position that she has. And just excited about the growth that has transpired with her in her life, mentally, emotionally, financially, and all areas of our life, Brian, is being impacted um, in ways that we just can't even imagine. And it's all about transformation. So yeah, Brian, I think it's time for some more of us to get in rooms with people who can assist and take us to the next level. And there are some rooms that you'll go in that you'll be able to assist people that you had no idea that you can assist and take to the next level. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Make sure you get your inner healing and deliverance first, please, so that you don't sabotage where you're going. We have a session, and I've got the flyer. I just haven't put it out. We're going to start doing deliverance sessions once a month in the month of March, but it's after my ordination in March that I'm gonna put that flyer out. I sent it to a couple of y'all. I think Joanne saw it and Stella. But make sure you work on your inner man first, because if you can work on your inner man and you can work on you, it starts with discipline. If you can do that, then the direction that you want to go in, man, the sky is truly not even the limit, because we're shooting people to the moon now. Hey, make it a great day. Love you all. See y'all next week. Bye now.